Good evening and welcome back for another video. I'd like to thank everyone who's liked, subscribed and commented on my videos. It means a lot. We're going to talk about, can Bitcoin make you a millionaire? And before we jump into that, everything I do talk about today will be my opinion. Please do your own research. Don't just listen to me, especially if you're going to go and FOMO into the market and buy up all the remaining Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's sitting at $3,800. It's kind of hovering around that price. It kind of finding it a bit difficult to break through that $4,000 and $4,200 point. But good news is that everything is up in the market today. Volume is pretty good for a Saturday evening. The market's gone up about 2.9, 2.5 billion from this morning, so that's positive. And top 20 are all in green, which is also very, very positive. So what would it take to get us to $1 million return from Bitcoin? The article I'm going to look at, I'm going to concentrate is on Cointelegraph, but it's by comments that Tim Draper made at a summit. So Tim Draper stands by his Bitcoin price prediction of $250,000 in 2022. So we're looking around 3 years or 4 years if you talk about until the end of 2022. So venture capital investor Tim Firm reaffirmed his prediction that Bitcoin will reach $250,000 by 2022 in a panel discussion at a Web Summit conference November 6th. So obviously he's kind of been very bullish on Tim Draper, on Bitcoin, and it always seems that when Tim Draper talks about something, he knows something else which is going on potentially, or he knows upcoming projects or investors that are going to be going into the market, and that kind of is confirmed by things he said over the year, but more notably where he talks about this sentence, when he talks about where it says, when asked at the recent Web Summit conference whether he still thinks that Bitcoin price will experience a 40 times return in a span of 4 years and reach $250,000, Draper said, yes, we're talking about 5% market share to get to $250,000. That seems like a drop in a bucket, and all we need to really do to make it so that Bitcoin can be used by Starbucks coffee. So basically, he's that comment Starbucks coffee, and then we think about Backed and the use of Bitcoin in Starbucks. I think he initially said that earlier in the year. He also mentioned comments about Amazon and Tesla. Whether these are flippant comments or whether he knows something is obviously some of it's come to fruition with Backed, and hopefully we're going to have a proper launch with that. So let's just say that he's right. In 2022 or by the end of 2022, Bitcoin hits $250,000. I spoke about another video, and I spoke about what I think it would take to get to $1 million return for XRP, and that was around $20,000 you would need to invest. I believe to get around 55,000 BTC. So with Bitcoin, surprisingly, on this basis, you would only need to invest, not should I say only, but it's less than XRP, around $15,000, $15,200 to be exact, to get in fact the basic 4 Bitcoin, and then if this was to be correct, by 2022, that $15,000 would be worth $1 million. And again, like I mentioned in my last video, if someone came to you and mentioned a return of that from a $15,000 investment, a lot of people would be jumping into the market and buying up Bitcoins, especially on that sort of level of percentage return, and people will be taking out loans out, remortgaging their properties, selling their jewelry, whatever they can. But obviously, again, we need to be cautious with our predictions. and also take stock of how much we're investing and how much we can afford to lose. And that's very, very important. But on a $250,000 Bitcoin, that really isn't a massive, massive market cap. I mean, it'll be about a $4 trillion market cap, which may sound like a lot. The fact that we've not broken $1 trillion market cap overall for crypto, it reached 800 billion last year. But in the grand scheme of it, and where we expect crypto to go to, $4 trillion is not a lot. We expect the market to grow to 10, 20, 30 trillion dollars. And even if Bitcoin keeps a dominance of around 20 or 30%, potentially could still hit around those figures. In fact, I think it'll need to still be slightly higher for it to reach. No, actually, no, on a $20 trillion market cap, 25% will hit $250,000. So obviously, we expect Bitcoin's dominance to reduce over the years as other cryptos come to fruition as well. So yes, it's entirely possible. It's possible with a lower investment than XRP, surprisingly enough, but the returns could be fantastic, and I think that's what a lot of people are waiting for. And there's obviously also talk of Bitcoin going past $250,000, where people expect it to hit $1 million or $10 million in its lifetime. I don't know when that would be. That might be 30 years from now, 40 years by now. It might be 10 years from now. But certainly on these bases, 4 years from now, it's all entirely possible. I've read predictions for this year, it reaching around $150,000 to $250,000. My own prediction was slightly more conservative, around $90,000 to $150,000. So we could reach this figure a lot sooner than 2022. We could reach in 2021 or even 2020, by the end of 2020, I should say. So not a massively long video, but just again an interesting conversation to be had. It'll be fantastic to hear your viewpoints of what you guys think. Is this possible? Do you believe a $250,000 Bitcoin or further than that over the next 5 to 10 years, or even 4 to 10 years? Let me know what you think. Please comment, like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.